The Dallas Mavericks are currently 16-8 and occupy the second seed in the Western Conference, and on Tuesday they have a big game against the Oklahoma City Thunder for the first round of the NBA Cup. And the Dallas Mavericks will definitely be needing their X factor in PJ Washington. Not only does he play well against the Oklahoma City Thunder, he's been playing well all season, as ever since he came back from injury, the Dallas Mavericks are 11-12 in their last few games and are currently on a 7-game win streak. An article that came out just a few days ago highlights exactly what it is that PJ Washington does for the Dallas Mavericks, and in this video we're going to break down that article, take a look at what it is that PJ Washington does and how well he can be for the Mavericks going forward. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, our last vid got over 300 likes, which I appreciate greatly. I know I'm always saying let's get 400 likes, but I'll take 300. But if you're enjoying everything that we're doing here at Mavericks Digest, the live streams, the watch-alongs, the news vids, and everything else in between, make sure you like this video, and I'd appreciate it greatly. But everybody knows that PJ Washington has been essential for the Dallas Mavericks' success. He's been very foundational ever since he got here from the Hornets last season at the trade deadline. And although when we first got PJ, his offense was a little bit rocky, couldn't really hit his threes, some layups would just go in and out. But one thing that was very consistent with PJ was his defense, his on-ball defense of whoever you put on him, whether it's on the wing, on the low block. PJ Washington is arguably now our best defender. Last year, some people would say it was Derrick Jones Jr. I always claimed it was PJ Washington. But how good has PJ Washington been for the Dallas Mavericks? If we take a look at his averages for the season, he's averaging 12.7 points, 8.3 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.2 blocks, 1.3 steals, and 1.6 turnovers, as well as 2 fouls per game, shooting 45% from the floor and 36% from three. He shoots only 19% on corner threes, 88% of his threes are assisted, and 38% of all shots are threes. That 19% on corner threes, I know he practices that shot a lot, but obviously from the wing and even from the top of the key are the money shots for PJ Washington. That's how he always knocks down his threes, shooting 36%. And a lot of people understand that PJ Washington's three never really looked that good. We saw it last season, the playoffs against Oklahoma City Thunder, where he looked like Steph Curry. In the start of this season, the three really wasn't there, but ever since he came back from injury, he has been amazing, just outstanding for the Mavericks. That three ball really did come back. And even though last night's game against the Toronto Raptors, he didn't make any of his threes, that's not indicative on how great PJ Washington has truly been. If we take a look right here, PJ Washington, since returning from injury, is averaging 15 points per game, 9 rebounds per game, 3 assists on 48, 53, and 83 splits, a plus 8.6 while being the best defender on the court and doing the dirty work. A dog. And that's just exactly who he is. PJ Washington was a player that I was a little bit nervous for at the start of the season. When, yes, we got Klay Thompson, we got a lot of new additions, the team looks good, but who will suffer from these new additions and who will flourish? At first, I thought PJ Washington may not get as many points or rebounds, or maybe his entire average will drop playing next to Klay, Kyrie, and Luka, but that has been the complete opposite. PJ is flourishing, finding a role just for himself amongst the all-stars, amongst the starters, even with the bench unit. PJ Washington has continued to excel in every category ever since the start of the season, but most importantly since he came back from injury. And in those 4 games that we didn't have PJ, we were 0-4. We lost every game without PJ Washington. But the moment he comes back, everything changes. Everything changes. When PJ Washington plays basketball for the Dallas Mavericks, we're a much more complete team. We're a better team. We can score better, defend better. Not many teams can hang with us. The timely blocks, the rebounds. PJ Washington brings a lot of value to this team, and it's only up. It's only going to go up from there with PJ Washington. And continuing with what we got going today, an article came out saying Lively puts the league on notice for overlooking Mavericks' rising third star. A lot of people say Klay's the third star. A lot of people feel like it's PJ Washington. The article continues by saying Lively dives into how Washington is Dallas's unsung hero. After the win over Memphis, Derrick Lively was asked if he thinks that people around the league outside of Dallas realize how good Washington is, and he didn't hold back. Lively goes on to say, if they don't watch the game and they just look at the stats, no, Lively said. But if they watch the game and see how much dirty work he's doing, he's on the floor. He's gambling for loose balls. He's trying to get a jump ball. He's trying to get rebounds. He's trying to attack the rim. He's trying to shoot the ball. And that is very, very true of PJ Washington. He's trying to do everything. He knows that Luka, Kai, Klay, and even Quentin Grimes, those are our shooters. They're obviously going to try and get their shot off. We got guys who can attack the basket, like a Najee Marshall, like Quentin Grimes sometimes. We got guys that can get rebounds. But PJ wants to be a part of every little facet facet of this team. He wants to shoot the three. He wants to get rebounds. He wants to get blocks. The other day, he had 7 assists. He wants to pass the ball. Every part of what this Dallas Mavericks team does great, PJ Washington has a hand in it in every single facet, from the offense to the defense. And obviously, Derrick Lively, being a close teammate of PJ Washington, he sees it. And a lot of people may just look at the stats and see, how can your third star only average 12 points, a few assists, and a few rebounds? But if you watch the game, if you see what PJ is doing, he's on par with some of the better power forwards in the league, and that's not hyperbole. But continuing with the article, it goes on to say, the Mavs are 1-4 without Washington this season, with their one win being over the 9-13 Chicago Bulls. Dallas is 13-4 with Washington in the lineup, and since the start of November, they have only lost 2 games that he has played in. His role as a team starting power forward is more valuable than those outside of Big D realize, and every single part of his game confirms that. And that's true. PJ Washington as our starting power forward is very essential to our success. It's the reason why we're winning so many games, and it's also the reason why people really want to make sure that we have a very strong backup to PJ Washington. Last night against the Dallas Mavericks, we saw Omax play in lieu of Maxi Kleber because he was out for illness, and I mean, Omax didn't disappoint. He had maybe 1 or 2 weird possessions, but for the most part, Omax looked really good. And if Jason Kidd can give him more minutes, then maybe Omax is the backup to PJ we've all been looking for, but only time will tell. And continuing with this, it says, even though he is passing, rebounding, defending, and shooting as well as he ever has, he isn't getting the respect that he deserves. Washington is turning into one of the most important players on the squad due to his versatility, energy, and a unique skill set. And Lively's description of him give fans a perfect look into the type of player that he is. Like I said, he has his hand in everything from scoring, passing, rebounding, defending, shooting. He's everywhere trying to do a little bit of everything. The only part of his game that I think we can all agree that needs work is ball handling. Whenever he brings the ball down, whenever he dribbles too much, I'm always worried it's going to be a turnover. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but it's good to know that he's trying. He wants to fix those deficiencies, and a lot of the issues that we were talking about last season are not even here anymore. And the article continues by saying he is always bringing effort and energy and doing all the little things, and that is on top of his reliable jumper, lockdown defense, and ever-growing playmaking and skill in the open floor. Washington has turned into an indispensable piece of the Mavs, and if he can keep these strong performances up, he could end up being the type of player who ends up turning to a household name in Dallas for years to come. And I think PJ Washington is already close to becoming a household name. After we saw him stand on business the last playoffs, that's become the identity of not just PJ, but the entire Dallas Mavericks. PJ Washington is that unsung hero. He is that guy for us that's doing all the dirty work. A lot of people are saying that he's our Shawn Marion, it feels like. And I'm totally fine with that. Shawn Marion was one of my favorite players for the Dallas Mavericks growing up. Would explain why I'm a big PJ Washington fan. But how good is PJ Washington compared to his contemporaries and other power forwards in the league? Well, if we just take a look at this right here, here's some advanced stats for PJ Washington versus OG Anunoby, who did sign a $200 million extension with the New York Knicks. In the top half of this is their offensive advanced stats. Very, very similar, where PJ excels in certain areas, where OG excels in certain areas. But on the defensive end, on that bottom half, PJ Washington is in the top percentile for almost every single stat. The advanced stats for defense on PJ shows that he is arguably one of the better defenders in the league, bar none. And with OG Anunoby getting $200 million, PJ's on a 3-year, $46 million contract that will expire in about 2 years, and he will definitely deserve a bigger contract. Not sure if it's a max, probably not a super max, maybe upwards close to $80 to $100 million. But PJ Washington's defense is inexpendable. It is exactly what this Dallas Mavericks team needs as one of our best defenders, our most versatile defender. Again, up against his contemporaries like OG Anunoby, who's known as a lockdown defender. The advanced stats say that PJ Washington does a lot of things that OG does, but a lot better. And I'd argue that he has a better fit in this Dallas Mavericks team than someone like OG Anunoby. But the question does have to be raised. Is PJ Washington the most underrated defender in the NBA? I'd say so. If you look at PJ Washington compared to anybody that won any of the All-NBA defensive awards last season, or even the last 2 seasons, see how they are now compared to how they are now. Compare them now to how PJ Washington is now, and you see that PJ is a great defender. He's better than a lot of these other guys that are getting max contracts and getting big extensions. I'm not saying we got to go broke for PJ, but I'd love to see PJ get paid, get what he deserves, and stay in Dallas long term. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think that PJ Washington is our X factor? Do you think that he is one of the main reasons why we're winning games? Or do you think that PJ is just another role player? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We'd have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for making this far into the video. Make sure you check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing a giveaway every single month on this channel. The only way to enter our giveaways is to become a channel member of any tier. But until next time, y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.